don't have a slideshow, kind of last minute. Laura Richard with Wisconsin Clean Cities. Clean Cities Coalition, my executive director likes to say that we are the best kept secret of the Department of Energy. We're the educational outreach arm for the Department of Energy. There are 87 coalitions throughout the United States. Right now, Wisconsin Clean Cities, our whole name is Southeast Area, because that's where a couple of people have referred to the non-attainment area. So 7 counties in southeastern Wisconsin. But we are working towards that. One of the ways that we're moving throughout the state is something I think Dave Jenkins might also speak to from the State Energy Office. We work with the state on something called the Wisconsin Clean Transportation Program, which took $15 million of ARA funding and spread it through 36 partners throughout the state of Wisconsin, which again is part of the reason we want to grow. We want to help other people. Dave mentioned paper transport. Through We Energy's paper transport did receive funding. Transit Express received funding. We also, as I said, the city of Milwaukee received funding. They received $4.8 million of the $15 million ARA fund to put in 2 public fueling stations. One of them is going to be right off of Lincoln Avenue, off of Miller Parkway, so relatively conveniently located. That particular station is going to be great. It's 24-hour credit card access, and it's going to be able to fill up a Honda Civic or paper transport. You know, it can, any size, any volume. I am not an engineer, so pardon me if I use the wrong language when describing that part. They're also going to have a partial access station off of Ruby Road, a little bit further north in Milwaukee. That one will be open to the public, but only probably 8 to 5 whenever somebody's in the building. But they're also getting 21 refuge trucks, and they will be using those trucks in addition for garbage, but they will be using them for snow plow as well. So it's a really exciting project in the city that I'm personally, I live in the city, so I'm really excited for it. Trying to get those trucks in my neighborhood, although I don't think it's going to happen. We also go as far north as Bayfield County for the Wisconsin Clean Transportation Program. They are getting a much smaller scale CNG station. Mark, I believe, talked to you. The benefit with the CNG station is it's, you know, the tanks are above ground. Bayfield County did theirs specifically so that they could grow. They're starting with just 4 converted vehicles, but they hope someday to grow and create a public station. At this point, it will be private as it opens. But that's one of the benefits to kind of once you get your feet wet a little bit, it's a little bit easier to grow with the stations. See, Dane County is also included in that. So we have some experience. What we do is try and make the connections. So those of you that are fleet owner-operators, whatever kind of fleet you have, we try and make those connections with you, with people like our next speaker, to make the connections to get funding. You know, with our Clean Cities members, we keep you very much in the forefront of the money that's out there through government tax incentives to grant money. Obviously, you know, the best money is free money, so that's, you know, the grant money that comes out. What we do with our members is, again, we let them know that the money is coming out, but additionally, a lot of our members we partner very closely with in the grant solicitation process. You'll hear in a couple of minutes about money that is coming out. It's going to be highly competitive. So all the help that you can get is, you know, all the better. So we can also help arm you with different facts that you may need to know, resources that are available. So that's what we do at Clean Cities. We are not, we don't have the grants, but we help connect the dots, and we also do things like Bob did here today and bring together stakeholders, people who are interested to try and make the connections. I know with one of our fleets in the Green Bay area, we helped make the connections as they started converting more and more of their trucks to CNG, they needed more fuel, obviously. And so helping to make those connections to get them the infrastructure that they need. A lot of times public-private partnerships are a great aspect, and so we can help build those relationships and kind of fill in that gap to make the connections. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura. My name's Dave Jenkins from the Wisconsin State Energy Office. I wanted to acknowledge a fellow that I know who's a real leader in the State Assembly, Representative Scott Souter, whose office told us about this, so we're appreciative of your leadership in this area, and appreciate Representative Souter's office talking to us about this and letting us know about it. There's a lot going on in the state in the area of CNG, especially. We do a couple of things in state government. We're a very small part of the Wisconsin Department of Administration. We have about 8 people. We work with Laura's group, Clean Cities, very closely. One of my coworkers competed for a federal grant from the U.S. Department of Energy about a year and a half ago and was awarded $15 million for the 30-some-odd projects that Laura mentioned. And a number of those are CNG projects. And one of the things that we're seeing is there's a lot of interest on the part of wastewater treatment plants, petroleum marketers, and you might think, well, why do petroleum marketers want to be interested in this? It's competition. Some of our state's biggest petroleum marketing companies want to do this for their own reasons. You know, they have their own trucks, they have their own vehicles, their own fleets. They spend a lot of money on energy themselves, and they want to contain those costs. So companies like that are interested in this. Wastewater treatment plants are very interested in it because it's a way to capture some energy from their operations that they're not capturing now. I know that Janesville, for example, Janesville, Wisconsin's wastewater treatment folks are very interested in this. So we expect a lot of interest in requests for proposals that we're going to be putting out about a week from today. So I look for those next Monday or Tuesday. We are allocating over half of our federal energy money that we're going to get from the U.S. Department of Energy this year for compressed natural gas projects in Wisconsin. And so let me give you our website. It's http://energyindependence, one word, .wi.gov, G-O-V. And we'll post these requests for proposals on that website. Just go to our homepage, and it'll take you to where you can see the request for proposal. Any Wisconsin business or municipal government is eligible to apply for this. We're going to have approximately $650,000 for projects. I worked in the energy world for 25 years. That's a very small amount of money for energy projects. But it's over half of the money that we're going to be able to get from the Department of Energy. We're going to try to allocate more money for this because there's going to be a lot of interest. We expect to have between 30 and 15 proposals from around the 30 and 50 proposals from around the state interested in this. And we expect to make a half a dozen or more awards of various sizes based on those proposals. Let me give you my phone number. You can call me and ask me questions about it. I'll stay after the meeting to try to answer questions about it. But again, my name is David Jenkins, Jenkins, State Energy Office, and our phone number is 608-264-7651. My email address is davidj, then a dot, Jenkins, Jenkins, at Wisconsin, and spell out the word Wisconsin, .gov, G-O-V. The main reason we're interested in this, there's really 2 or 3, but there's one real good one. The people of the state of Wisconsin spend about $6 billion a year just to import oil into our state. We spend between 300 and 400 billion as a country on imported oil, and most of that doesn't come back here. It would be different if that money were reinvested back in the United States by either they're buying things from us or direct investment. One exception to that is Canada, our largest trading partner. Canada has a lot of direct investment in Wisconsin, companies like Domtar, Sanimax, many others. And they're our largest trading partner, but that's the exception. We don't have too many Persian Gulf or Venezuelan or Nigerian businesses investing in Wisconsin, creating jobs here. So that's a main reason we're concerned about this. And we agree with what the speakers that preceded me say about the cost savings. That's real. It's off-the-shelf technology. We don't have to wait 2 or 3 or 5 years to do this. We can do it now with stuff that's commercially available. And those are compelling energy savings. I can't promise you that the price of natural gas is never going to go up, so don't hold me to that. But we do seem to have very large supplies of natural gas in the United States that are going to take quite a long time to work off. And some of that technology, there are some areas of the country where hydraulic fracturing has been controversial. It's not controversial everywhere. And that's something that I'm optimistic that Congress and the federal government will sort out. But we have quite a bit of gas. Prices are reasonably low. And petroleum can go up too, right? As we've sometime seen when it was over $4 in 2008, got to $4.13 or $4.17 in Wisconsin. Another reason is that as a state government, our state government spends about $180 million a year on energy. And I'm sure that the governor and the legislature have better things to spend money on than high petroleum prices, high cost of diesel and high cost gasoline. So we would serve the state well to try to find ways like this to deploy this technology in state vehicles. And we're going to try to do some of that. Excuse me, again, we don't have unlimited money to do that. We have limited resources, but we want to put it where we're going to save people the most money. So we're excited about that RFP. We're going to have a number of other ones too. Some of them have to do with marine transportation, with electric vehicles for use in state operations, and small anaerobic digesters. So there's a number of different topics that these RFPs are going to cover, but the largest one's going to be on CNG. I think I'll stop there and turn it back over to Bob. And Bob, thank you for organizing this.
Thank you, all on the panel. I appreciate that. And David pointed out that Scott Suter is here, and I just wanted to make sure that we were aware of who all was here. Scott, you acted like Scott was sitting behind you, but I know I was going to introduce him as well. But Scott Suter's here, Representative Petrusky's here. Appreciate you all coming. We also have representation from Representative Duffy's office. Brian Blom and Dave Anderson are here. Camille, I saw you walk in from Senator Johnson's office. I appreciate that. And I understand that Bryce Luchterhand may be here. Wasn't sure who to look for. Never met you. Bryce, welcome and thanks for coming. So we do have federal and state representation here. Certainly feel free to direct your questions to them. There is one other gentleman that mentioned that he might be here, and again, I don't know him, but the finance director of Marathon County, is he here? He was going to talk just a little bit about, what was his name, Andy? I should have had that on my list. I apologize. Conservation. Sorry about that. Well, finance is a good topic always. Did you want to just share just a little bit about what the county is doing, or are you?
Our interest is in the anaerobic digestion, just for the feasibility farmers finding economic revenues off the manure production and things like that. So we're at that beginning of that, trying to understand what we can do with that, the anaerobic digestion, the gas production, so.
Good, okay, well, I appreciate that, and I know there's a number of ag people that are interested in the ag and the landfill piece of this whole thing. And I suppose the question could be rhetorical, but it's a real question that was actually written on a note, is what role should and can the government, state and Fed, play in a venture like this? And I don't know if that was a question that was asked from a philosophical perspective or a perspective of, you know, asking what was available. And I appreciate David Jenkins covering that extensively.